Hey there, it's Chrissy Key Rollins here, coming back again, talking about this idea of the twin flame soulmate flip. What the heck do I mean by that? What I mean about that is that right now, in this time and age of our current life experience, the energy, the pulse of the universe is ripe for up-leveling relationships. Now, that may look like resolution, where there's been a lot of hardship, or it could look like disillusion and the ending of a relationship. But all of it is about evolving you and your involvement in life. Hey, Erica, welcome live. I should mention, because you might be catching this over on my YouTube channel for the replay, I'm doing this live on my Facebook business page. So hopefully the audio will keep up. Sometimes there can be a little bit of a lag time. But if you are here live, feel free to chat in and join the conversation, because this really is my gift to you, because I have been doing my due diligence, doing some massive healing in my relationship with my wonderful, amazing life partner. And there was a while where I lost sight of his awesomeness, quite frankly. And I kind of got caught up and lost along my way in really being able to receive all that this wonderful man brings into my life. And as I've had conversations with people over the last couple of weeks, last few months, last couple of years, really, I'm finding that I'm not alone. We find ourselves going into these partnerships where we think we have found our soulmate. Now, what do I mean by soulmate? Because some of y'all might use this terminology, some of you might not, some of you might believe in it, some of you might not. Let me define it by the way that I mean it so you can follow along. So what I mean by soulmate is just that person, the people in your life that make your life easy. They just accept you how you are. You can do no wrong. You can tell them your most scary thoughts and they're there to back you up. Like, you can be your hot mess all over the place self and they don't change how they treat you. They are still supportive. They still love you. They still root you on. They are your soulmates. They make life easy. A lot of these come in the form of friends. We're drawn to a lot of friends that are our soul mates, meaning our souls, our internal self, easy way to talk about it. The excuse me, the aspect that's within us that drives all of our likes and dislikes and preferences and decision making, that part of us really gets along well with that part within another human. Again, this can come through family members, it can come through friends, acquaintances, it can also come in partnerships. Now, understand that everybody has a different set of challenges that they're going to go through in this lifetime, and the cast of characters, if you will, scripted to play in your life unfolding, is going to be different with different roles depending on what your challenge is. Some of us went through the twin flame dynamics and found a lot of hurt and toxicity and abusiveness, and we resolved to get ourselves out of it, and we moved on, and we made different choices. We went in a different direction. We showed up differently in the relationship, and we got partnered with that soulmate. And now life's just easy. Some of us found that soulmate to begin with. I know one of my friends from high school, I watch him and his wife, and they are just literally two peas in a pod. They just click, they sync up, they think marriage is the easiest thing ever, and they don't know why anybody struggles with it. But I find pretty often there are people like myself who met their beloved and realized and thought and felt with all their beingness that they're two peas in a pod. There was so much synchronicity, so much that synced up, so much that was just familiar, so much that was comfortable, so much that was just natural and unlike previous relationships. And there was just something that says, excuse me again, I need to drink some water. Something that says, this is going to last forever. And it does. Until it doesn't. And over time, could be, typically this takes a couple of years. But over time, all of a sudden, you realize, wait a minute, we have two totally different opinions. Wait a minute, we approach things completely different from life. Wait a minute, do we have anything in common at all? Wait a minute, how come you agitate me so much? Why am I always so frustrated? I feel so fulfilled, happy, engaged in all my relationships until I engage with you. What is up with that? Why don't you love me? Why don't you accept me? Why are you always criticizing me? Why are you always nitpicking me? Why can I never do anything right for you? And how come you can't do anything right for me? How come you always default on the things that you say? What is up with this, right? Erica says soulmates, soul sisters, and the life are the lifeline that we all need. Absolutely. Find your soulmates. You know who they are now that you have that simplified definition. They're just the people who make life easy. It's easy. I have a lot of girlfriends that are just easy. It doesn't mean that they like everything about me. They just accept everything about me, and they just make it easy to be me. Okay. So all of a sudden, this one that you thought you were eye to eye with is all of a sudden agitating you, frustrating you, and starting to cause more problems than you can seem to get on the same page about. Or maybe whenever you do still sync up and get on the same page, you're like, wow, this is great. This is what I want. Until it starts to go again. Excuse me. I have a feeling I must be doing a lot of throat chakra clearing talking about this, because there's a lot of suppressed voices when it comes to relationships because of this dynamic. Okay, it's okay. We'll make it through this. We'll make it through this. Okay. So there's a number of factors over why this separation begins to happen. One of the things that happens that's very common within all relationships is that what got you together isn't what keeps you together. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that when you meet somebody for the first time, you in essence don't know anything about them. So you also have very little assumptions about them. I mean, you might have some basic assumptions due to their background or their ethnicity, or, you know, some of those things that we have some past experience with that we might carry over into our newer relationships. So there may be some assumptions, but really nothing compared to what happens later on down the road. So there's very little assumptions because you don't know this person yet. And then there's a lot of communication because you don't know this person yet. So you're talking about things, and when you're confused, you ask questions, and when you don't get it, you find out why, and you ask for clarity, and you always err on the side of love. I feel a lot for this person. I feel connected to this person. We get along so well, so surely I must be misunderstanding them. And we have a lot of communication, very little assumption, and things can get clarified. What happens over time, because our brain and our human design is so efficient to keep us moving forward in this life, we begin to take in information. Oh, whenever I said that, he didn't really like that. I don't really like the response that he gave whenever I did that. Ooh, I didn't like that reaction. And what begins to happen is that we start to tuck away parts of ourselves that no longer feel safe to bring out on display. And we also begin to assume. We become psychics, and we already know what they're going to say. We already know how they're going to respond. We already know how they're going to react. We know so much that we make all the decisions within ourselves, and we stop giving our partners the opportunity to respond differently or to communicate further. So what happens over time is that you end up assuming a lot more and communicating about these assumptions a lot less. Now, this gets super tricky because when you are watching, observing, and assuming, you are filtering everything that you witness through your own stuff, through your own past history, from your past experiences, from what you knew before. So it is very easy, very common, and I'm going to just make this the focus of today's video so we can keep these all, you know, nice and short and easily digestible and actionable, practical. So this is where we're going to start today. Start to pay attention. What are you assuming about your partner's actions? Where can you open your mouth and start a dialogue of communication that will better understand what that person's actions are? And in order to do this, I highly encourage that you do this. You just totally set aside everything that you think that you know about this person. Because you might find out that you're right. What you're assuming may very well be what they're doing. However, if your beloved is not displaying themselves as someone who worships the ground that you walk on, but they're still committed and they're in the relationship with you, and they're doing these things, and especially if you've had conversations, why do you got to do this? I don't want you to do this. Okay, I won't do this anymore. And then it doesn't happen. If that kind of thing happens, Erica says, so familiar and so real again. Yeah. When that kind of thing happens, it is your cue. I always say confusion is a sign of an illusion. Confusion is always a sign of an illusion that you are living in or that your partner is living into, somebody else is living into. right? So when confusion arises, it is a clear sign that further communication is needed. And this is a skill to develop. We're going to talk tomorrow about taking things personal, because that's what happens, that taking things personal and getting defensive. We'll talk about that tomorrow, because I know that's a huge dynamic in the burning of twin flames. Let me talk about twin flames too. So, excuse me. So if your beloved is agitating you or doing actions that you thought you had previous agreements on, or that you just don't understand, or you're making up stories like it's a personal attack against you, or every time I tell him this and he's still doing it, whatever those things are, I invite you to, next time that you witness them, to start a conversation. Start a conversation. Just ask a question. Just ask a question. And I'm going to encourage you to start with what you know to be true about this person. Hey, Nancy, welcome, sweetie. I'm so glad that you're here. Feel free to chat in if you feel called to. But start with what you know to be true about this person. What you know to be true about this person is that at one point you were head over heels, and they could do no wrong and you could do no wrong. And if they're still with you, and they still profess their love to you, and they still say they want to be in this committed craziness with you, then you have to trust that, and you have to err on the side that they've got your back, and you have to say to your beloved, I know you to be somebody who has my back. When I watch this action unfold, it doesn't feel like you have my back. Can you help me to understand what your thought process is? And if that person is truly out of integrity, they get the opportunity to take ownership of it, take responsibility for it, and they also get the opportunity to make a different choice. Because have you ever made a choice that's out of integrity? I know I have, especially in the heat of the moment when I'm all wrapped up with my feels, right? So do other people. We have to learn how to extend the same grace that we want extended to us. And if they're just having a bad day, or it was just the tone of voice due to whatever thing that they were thinking in their head that had nothing to do with you, it's time for us to be able to start to untangle ourselves from this nasty mess of burning each other every time that we turn around, constantly thinking it's the other person and not you, only seeing how you're doing all the work and how they're not doing anything. I guarantee you, if you're having that experience, they're having that experience. If you're not fulfilled, they're not fulfilled. If you're feeling frustrated, they're feeling frustrated. Why? Because you're twin flames. The same. And your souls chose to come together in this lifetime to give you an opportunity to grow like you've never grown before. And the growth that is required cannot happen if you just cut ties and move away from them. Now, mind you, if you are in a truly abusive, harmful relationship, your safety is first and foremost priority. Always, always, always get yourself into a safe place. And then you can take the further steps. But if you're someone like me, you know that you're safe. It just doesn't always feel safe because you haven't been always fully accepted or gotten the response that you want from your partner whenever you deliver whatever it is that you want to deliver. But truly, they are a safe place for you. They're a safe place for you to explore what preconceived notions you are filtering their actions through, and a safe place to explore why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, and a safe place to learn how to use your voice. But if you approach it any other way than help me better understand you, you're going to get into taking it personal and getting defensive, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. So let me know. If you made it this far into the video, let me know. Does this resonate with you? Can you relate to this? Have you had experience with this? Do you have any tips and tools that work great in these situations? What has this situation been like for you? Chat it in. Let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, just hit the comments below. If you're catching this on Facebook, just hit the comments below. Tag me in it if you want to, but I should see them all. And join me back here tomorrow, and we'll keep this conversation going about healing relationships and flipping over those twin flame dynamics back to that soulmate relationship that you had in the beginning. Okay. Thank you so much. I look forward to your feedback, and I will see you here tomorrow. Thanks, Nancy and Erica, for being here live, and those of you that popped on and off but didn't chime in and let me know who you were. So it's just an honor to be here and to share this message with you, and I'm glad that this is something that is hitting home for a lot of people. Nancy says, we honor I need to take a break comment. Yes, I need to take a break. Just do that. Just take a little break, take a little step back, right? It will really make a difference. Right now, you're living in default habits, and life's trying to break you out of them, which is why it's so agitating. And there's two ways you can break out of them. You can, again, move away from the stimulus and take the problem with you, or you can utilize this beloved that is here in front of you and transform your experience, not only of them, but of yourself. It's truly radical. So stay tuned for the rest of this. Mwah! Love y'all, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye. And thanks for sharing. Share, subscribe. If you caught this on YouTube, just pass this along. Everybody needs some healing right now.